So this is my racing rig right here. Obviously got the pedals, clutch, brake, and gas. Got the steering wheel, G920 with force feedback. Got the shifter. Got a handbrake. Got the side panel. This is an analog stick that goes any direction and twists for whatever I want it to do. In game in American Truck Sim, it changes my camera around. I've got a bass shaker right here, and it's all mounted on the Open Wheeler 3. And then I just use the Oculus Quest 2 with a halo strap for my sim rig. So obviously with the sim rig everything works, because I've mapped it all out. But I can change the info on my little dashboard there. That's really cool. I can change the ride height of my truck. Changes a little bit here. You can notice it more if I park it and then look at it externally. Third person here. If I aim it like that, you guys can see that the height does adjust. Of course, you can probably do this on mouse and keyboard as well. I'm just showing that I got it working with my sim rig. I've got a option to recenter my camera, so if the VR gets out of sync, I just press the B button on my steering wheel, and that's what I have that set to.
Get ready to turn right.
My paddle shifters I have set to my blinkers. And then, like, this is kind of just a preference thing, but I have...
Keep left, and then turn left.
I've got my A, B, X, and Y set to various things. A
Turn
is
left.
for select, X is going to be my cruise control, and Y is my attach and detach trailer. The D-pad controls my radio, and also brings up the map. So if I hit down on the D-pad, it brings up my map and makes it go away. Up on my D-pad is how I go into third person. And then I have a button on my side panel to reset camera back into the cab. I've got my air horn and my toot horn. I don't know what to call it. My regular horn and my air horn, both set on my wheel as my shoulder buttons, the L button and R button. And then my pause button brings up my pause menu. My gear shifter is pretty basic too. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I have a toggle button on my side panel. That's 7, 8, 9,
Finally,
10.
we're here. You took your damn time.
Ignore the GPS. I have a handbrake that I use in Forza quite a bit. I just have that set for my parking brake. So there's that. I'm not going to go into depth with what I have on set on my side panel just because there's so much set there. But I will kind of show what I can do with my side panel. So one really cool thing is I can open and close the window. That's just kind of more of a quality of life thing. You might notice though that it does change the audio. So if you like the more quieter sound of the engine, you can keep the window closed, or if you like the engine louder, it's kind of more just changing that, and you can hear the air rush behind you, or all around you more of. Back up to this trailer, hook it up,
Get no crumbs on my back seat.
and get going, and I'm going to keep showing some cool things here. Obviously I've got my lights. I already showed off the blinkers. But I've also got the hazards, as well as the high beams, low beams, off, chicken lights, and then low beams again. Wipers, obviously, I just have that as a button toggle. I can change the zoom on my GPS if I want to, which is super handy for seeing how far behind me someone is in multiplayer. I also have raising and lowering my axles, which I can't demonstrate right now because this truck does not allow for that. As well, I also have engine brake that I can enable. Super fun to play around with. Without the engine brake, if I just release the acceleration, it just coasts. Enable it, it's going to slow me down.
Turn left.
So if you know how to use the engine brake, you can go ahead and do that. I do a lot of double shifting, so I end up skipping gears. I'll go 2, 4, 6, and then I'll usually go up to 7 or 8. This is a heavier load, so I'm going to go up to 7. I'm in a town, so I'm going to disable my engine brake. I also have my diff lock, which I can't show right now, but I can at the light. I just stalled it because I didn't put the clutch in enough. So, you absolutely cannot be moving when enabling diff lock apparently. But I do have that set as one of the buttons. I also have a analog stick on my side panel because it's the Saitek side panel that I can move the camera around with, up, down, all over. Oh, watching the road too. Some of the simpler buttons here. I got my cruise control, and I've got a scroll wheel that I can change in increments of 5. You can actually change that to be whatever you want. 1, 3, 5, I can't remember all the numbers that you can change it to. 10, 2 times, something like that. And I was playing around with it one time and found out you can actually set the cruise control to over 1,000. Right. I don't know why. So, if you guys ever get crazy with that. I have mirrors I can enable or disable, virtual mirrors. The route advisor, which has 3 modes to it that I can enable and disable. That's handy to view. I got beacon lights, but this truck does not have beacon lights. And then I also have my CB radio button, but I can't do that right now because I'm not in multiplayer anymore. But yeah, that's a quick rundown of all the things I can do with my sim rig. Another thing that's really cool that's kind of hard to demonstrate in-game is the bass shaker I've got. But one thing I can do is I can grab the remote for that and turn it right up. So you can hear it. I have it balanced so that I have just a little bit of rumble from the road. But yet when I hit a rumble strip I can feel it. This is American Truck Simulator in VR, and I'm going to kind of show you in this video why I enjoy playing it in VR. One of the main reasons, obviously, is head tracking. I know you can get head tracking through other things as well, like the Tobii eye tracking and stuff you can do a bit of head tracking with, or even with an Xbox Live. But there's something about putting a screen on your face and observing it through your observers, and just it works so fluently, and you don't is just so nice and great the way it works. I don't know how to describe it. It's perfect the way it is. I mean, like, yeah, it's a little bit gritty, as you can probably see, but things like that can be changed. But yeah, the major thing is head tracking. You can turn and look rather quick, and you can kind of position yourself in your cab where you want to be positioned. You can look at things that you couldn't normally before, like viewpoints. You can actually look around, whereas I don't think you can with a mouse. I could be wrong with that, but I don't think you can. So yeah, there's a lot of freedom when playing this in VR. Nighttime in VR is okay, but it's not as good as screen mode. That's one of the downfalls, is the nighttime is kind of lit. As you can see here, the sky kind of has like these lines through it, that as sunset continues on and it gets darker and darker,
And then turn right.
those keep getting way more noticeable.
Turn right.
So that's one of the downsides there. Towns look great, but highways do not. Highways is just, you see the road in front of you, and then you see darkness. You don't know what you're heading into. You see the brake lights ahead of you,
And then exit right.
but you don't see anything. There's no landmarks or anything. You can't even really see signs. If you have your high beams on, signs are completely washed out and
Get ready to
unreadable.
turn right.
I don't know why. It's
Turn
just the way
right.
it is with the high beams, but it's annoying. I'm sure someday I might find a fix for it. Someone must have a visual mod pack out there to fix that. I just haven't found it yet. Especially these white signs. You can't read those. Take the high beams off, you can kind of read them. Still not good. But as I mentioned though, towns, they look beautiful. Like all these signs lit up, and then you have the billboards over there that are all lit. They're kind of washed out too, but they're not as washed out as
Get ready to turn
the
left.
street signs that you kind of need to see sometimes.
Get ready
The
to
inside
turn
of the
left.
cab is still awfully dark. I do know though that there is a mod pack for the cab interior lights
left.
to turn them on. I thought there was a setting in game, and I was looking for it. I thought I saw an in-game setting, but apparently I was wrong with that. So, SES, if you're watching this, add a cab
Right.
interior light that you can turn on so you can see some of your stuff in here. Those stars do be looking good at night though. Another amazing thing about playing American Truck Simulator in VR is the parking. So like tight spots like this are a little bit easier to do in first person without having to operate a thumbstick and look in your mirrors. You can just look in your mirrors in VR, which just requires turning your head, and it feels a lot more natural because it's just like a real world experience. Still gotta straighten out just a little bit. This is a very tight spot though. yes, cab trinkets. I love my cab trinkets, as you guys can tell. I got a lot of fun ones. Got that bee that swings up there from the U-Tub, and I got the bobblehead dog. There's a compass that actually works. It tells you which direction you're facing. There's no turn for ages here. Oh, no, there is one coming out, so you'll be able to see that. I've got a little pirate air freshener. Got my cola, my thermos. Obviously the vintage Kenworth wheel with the vintage interior. 12-pack of cola down there. Stack of burgers, because, like gracious, who doesn't like burgers? In the back seat, I've got a guitar case, skull and cross pistons, and that's about it. I say back seat, but that's really a bed. I've got a wallet sitting over there, because, I mean, like, you need money, obviously. Here you can see the compass actually turning. It's facing more towards west. I've got the GPS on the phone and the GPS in the dashboard. The dashboard one is nice for going through towns where you got to see kind of like a wider array of streets. The phone one is nice because it's taller and you can see further ahead of you. So I keep both of them going. Mirrors, obviously. I like them angled pretty far out, and the bottom ones, the wide angle mirrors downwards a little more than the top. So yeah, that's about it for cab trinkets that I've got right now. Most of them are DLC. I went ahead and bought all the DLC packs. Not all at once either. I kind of bought them one or two at a time. Hey, there's my gas station. Hey, Ron.